All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning back in to our episode number 2 of our still unnamed podcast. As of now, still just a 10 Experience podcast. So we'll start you off with, if you have any good ideas on what our podcast name could be, PG-13 or better, then hit us with them. As always, still same cast. Galen and Steve from the Morristown location, Justin and myself, Taryn here in Bristol. And we're going to once again do our best to try to navigate some topics, provide maybe another shovel or two deeper into some of the ideas that we share and that we like to expand upon, and then hopefully stretch ourselves a little as well in an effort to provide maybe some insight to you or at least some entertainment. So we formatted it similar to the way we did last time, I suppose. We'll have some fun rapid fire questions. We'll hopefully be able to dig into a few topics that we've already thought through. And as always, you might have saw, if you're looking at this in hindsight, that we posted the opportunity for you guys to provide questions for us to cover on these podcasts. So if you see one of those coming around the bend for episode number 3, be sure to fire away those questions that we have. So without any further ado or wordiness, I guess we can go ahead and get started.
Hi guys, that's my mustache.
So I'll pull these up here. So as mentioned, we provided the opportunity on our Instagram story to hit us with questions. Let me get those pulled up here. There were a few that work really well and that we can expand upon. And I will start off with number 1. Should I get a Five Rivers CrossFit tattoo? From Kelly Massengill. We'll leave that to the Five Rivers boys to answer.
If you're asking the question, you probably know the answer.
Yeah, which is most definitely yes.
Yeah, that's easy. That's a no-brainer.
That's good. We got plenty of the comedic relief style answers or questions fired in there, so those are fun too. By all means, shoot those at us. They're fun to read. But we'll start with one that we can dig into a little bit more from Lauren Hayden. Sounded funky to say that.
Hayden?
Yeah. It says, what's
How do you pronounce that last name?
Yeah.
Again?
How do you say it last name?
Yeah, it's an old German name. It's irrelevant.
Clayton.
I knew a guy at Ecolab with that last name. I don't know.
And there was a guy in a job once upon a time. What's our favorite workout or movement? She asked for all of
That
us.
was one of my questions.
Was it? It was. I kind of one of mine too. So it's all right. We'll just knock it out of the park here. Justin, hit us.
Workouts, favorites, maybe the Chief for conditioning, and then movement, I would have to say snatch, power snatch. In nanos. That'd be it.
Nanos on the world stage.
In Reno, in Nanos. With 330 kilos or 330 pounds on the bar.
Well, there's really no doubt about that one, I think is what the announcer said when you power snatched it. Galen, what about you?
I don't particularly have a favorite workout, but favorite, I want to go backwards. Least favorite exercise is probably a thruster. It's a long way for me to travel. I like anything with weightlifting in it, though, preferably not for time. I like to work on polish, a.k.a. I'm a little lazy.
Favorite workout, is it Linda that has we did this a while back, bench press?
3 bars a day.
Yeah, my favorite for sure. Definitely the bro of the 4 here. Bench press, definitely my favorite lift, no doubt.
You happen to be pretty good at it, if I remember correctly.
Tell me a little more, bro. Tell me a little more.
That's what I say. How much you guys bench?
You don't even do it. Mine would be, it's hard for me to put a finger on a specific workout. I'll tell you a time domain. Anything over probably 12 to 15 minutes over that, so I can stay calm and relaxed and not die on my shield, because I'm really bad at short and really painful ones. And then movement, if we're going that route, I would probably say once I kind of figured it out, snatching as well. It's rewarding, no doubt. Complex, takes a long time to feel like you've accomplished anything, but rewarding for sure.
G said least favorite. So what's everyone's least favorite, Taryn?
Ooh,
She said
very
thruster.
least favorite movement. I don't like thrusters, not at competition weight, that's for sure. We'll leave that as probably my least favorite too. Sorry to just follow suit there, Galen, but yeah.
Whatever.
You got our long distance twins between Galen and Taryn.
All legs, man. That's it. Skinny ones at that.
Stevie?
Least favorite, probably, well, I'll take that route. I'll say for a short guy, wall ball sucks.
He spun it on us the other direction.
Yep.
Galen just reaches up and dunks it on the top
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, it's ironic. I like wall balls, hate thrusters. You guys explain that one.
Is running considered a movement?
Yeah, I thought about that one too, Jay.
Yeah, Jay, I'm with you.
When you got toothpick, well, not toothpicks, I guess. What's those little Yorkshire weenies? You know, little barbecue weenies.
Yeah.
That's my legs. They're really thick but really short, and my torso is like a longer Vlasic pickle. And that's how I feel running. It's like 1,000 steps.
I think that should be our next rapid fire question. Describe yourself in commonly known food parts.
Oh God, a chicken leg or chicken foot. How's that?
Absolutely. Running, like we have this little 800-meter route here, and as soon as I hit the hill, I can look at like my Whoop band or my watch and like see, and my heart rate is like halfway up, at least 195. Like every time. It's just like, I'm going slow today. I'm going really slow today, trying to pace it out. It's just like your body's like, no, fatty.
And if there were a marker for anxiety, it would be up too.
Oh, yeah,
Mild
absolutely.
depression would start to set in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no,
I'm going to piggyback on mine and say double unders as well, because that has the same effect on my heart rate that you're sharing, Justin. Anything where I inadvertently hold my breath crushes me. And double unders, I have to think a long time, a longer time than I like. So I forgot about double unders, but probably double unders would supersede thruster, in fact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That I did not expect that. You're really good at double unders.
I hate them. I absolutely hate them.
Lately, you've been doing single unders.
Yeah, I've even transitioned because I'm old and my bones hurt.
It's that old guy in the corner doing single unders.
Yeah, who's that guy doing skipping?
And we're just going to keep piggybacking. One thing I do not like is ring dips when my heart rate's elevated. I can't breathe.
Holding your
I cannot.
breath.
It feels like it's cutting my throat in half.
Like any of those like holding your breath type activities, like when you're already struggling and your heart rate's already high, are tough. Yeah. Push-ups, tough one too. I don't really. It kind of just follows up to what I said earlier about my actual workout style too, and it's barbell cycling in like a short duration. So like pedal to the metal. If I'm moving a somewhat decently heavy to me barbell around, not a fan, not fun. Although if I have to do it one time, love it.
That's like me. If I have to run 100 meters, I'm not bad, but 200.
So, least favorite conditioning workout? Did we already get? I mean, we kind of described it, but do you have like a named one?
Oh God, yeah. Drift or Murph because it's so freaking long.
Yeah.
Drift is 800
push-ups.
meter run forwards, 400 meter
Backwards.
run backwards, 800 meter run forward, 400 meter run back. Remember we did that the first place?
That sounds
Back in the day. Yeah.
I actually almost wrote it for this week, changed my mind. You guys
Really?
Yeah, I thought it'd be dangerous. People running backwards in the neighborhood, probably bouncing into potholes and
Yeah.
tripping over dogs and squirrels, maybe wrecking on their bike.
Us when we stopped caught on us again.
Yeah. I'd never even heard of that one, but it sounds like it's right up my alley. It's so funny how polar opposite. Well, you guys too, for the most part. I mean, you guys can blend a little bit, Galen, with your strength, but he and I are the most polar opposite training, preferences on the planet.
Yeah.
Yin and yang, baby.
The ones he said workouts that he hates is I'll happily jump. Maybe not happily, but I'll do them before I'll do a 5-minute pedal to the metal. That's for sure.
30 to 1 rather do Fran. I would do heavy Fran. Well, heavy Fran's easier, I think. I'd rather do Fran than most workouts because I know it's over with so quick. Just a mental block, I think.
I can relate to the Murph, especially in the push-up part. Feels like forever if you go straight through.
Yeah.
But one that hurts me pretty bad, this sounds weird, but I think Helen. If you really push down the gas pedal on Helen, sucks for me. Coming back to running. I'm with you, Jay.
I agree. That third run. I actually like Helen though. It's weird. I guess that mental block of not knowing I'm going to go over like 10 to 11 minutes, probably 38 minutes right now, but in the past. But that third round, I always like the kettlebell swings and pull-ups are nothing. It's just a running workout. 400s I can manage.
Mine is all hinges on the amount of pain I know that I can expect. So you guys probably wouldn't expect this one, but a 2K row makes me shake in my boots. Steve and I did one a few years ago as in a max effort 2K row. And I think we laid back here on the wall for the better part of an hour when we finished. I couldn't find a place to be comfortable. I wanted to not be here. I regretted the decision to do it. I haven't done it since. In fact, I've not tried a max effort 2K row since. And that's probably 3 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah, it's been a while. I hate that one too because there's something about, well, I'm going to say a 1K or a 2K, you can keep pretty high as far as your speed goes. So then it's like, all right. I always use the analogy is that Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future, where he's hanging on to the back of the truck or whatever. He's on the skateboard. And to me, it's like, all right, now I'm on the back. I'm hanging on. And so I've got to hang on now. Whatever that speed was, I got to hang on to it for whatever a 2K is going to be, 7-8 minutes, whatever.
That's a pretty good analogy. If you let go, you're in trouble kind of thing. Like, I'm screwed. Just hold on for dear life.
Yep, don't let go. Yep.
And so much of that comes down to, Galen, and we've talked about this, I know, but how good you are at digging in and making yourself hurt. Like not running away from when the pain starts coming in. Like those row efforts, it's not ridiculously long, you can hold on kind of thing, but it's going to just bury you. It's just how willing are you to be buried deep, really painful type outputs. And you as a good rower, I'm sure just crushed yourself.
It hurts so bad.
I can only imagine.
2K row, 50 calories assault bikes, all that stuff in that range is just like, I know I'm going to hurt so bad today. And like you said, I'm freaking out and like going to the bathroom 16 times before it starts. And it's just like, well, here we go.
And half the fear is born in knowing what the pain will be. So one of our old friends, Marty Stern, used to always say the fear of death is worse than the death itself. But I fully believe that knowing what a 1K presents, or for me, like a Fran workout or like a Karen workout where you really don't have to stop. For example, we did Karen last week and I knew it was going to hurt, so I didn't want to do it. I kind of hemmed and hawed and finally did it. And then as I finished, I felt fine, but it's like this massive rush of, for me, pain in the quads. Oh, it's instant nausea and instant regret, but a little bit of bliss woven in there too because it's over. I can almost set my watch to 12 minutes before I'll feel normal again.
That's crazy. See, I would rather do, like me personally speaking, I would rather do a hard 2K than to do something like the Hero's Journey. Just because it's the long dragging out. I'm so ADHD. Look, I could be doing this right now. I could be doing this. I could be doing this. I could do a squirrel. And then like me doing a 2K, it actually keeps me zoned in. I'm just looking at the pace and like, you suck, and just go.
No, for me, I'm like that too, Jay. Like I don't want to do the same thing over and over at all. That's why I'm not a big fan of running. Like, if people try to ask me to do longer than a mile, I'm like, no, we're not friends anymore. I'm not doing it. But to me, chippers are probably my favorite because it's something new as you work your way down, like if it's a pyramid of like 100 reps of this, 80, 60, whatever. I like those way better. Like, well, I was going to say like the Christmas workouts, but no, not like that. I guess when there's a bunch of movements involved.
Like a 10 to 1 or something like that?
Yeah, but I like them even more when I don't have to come back to them. Like if it's just an entirely new movement with an entirely new rep scheme. That's what I like. But the ADHD thing, it's dead on.
Isn't it tougher too that if you perform a workout like the 2K or the 1K and you've already done it before and you have something to go chase, and we're as competitive people deep down in us, like you want to go after it knowing how bad it's going to hurt. Same thing. It reminds me of a story at my level 1 where they give you, it was a Fran like workout. I think it was 15 thrusters at 95, 12 burpees for 3 rounds. And you're on the stage, if you will, in front of, the people that are hosting it, around people also getting certified. And you just know it's one of those things that you're either competing against yourself or in those type of moments. And it was one of the worst kind of pains afterwards. They had a big spread of food, brought in a bunch of barbecue and donuts, go figure. And I literally just walked around the perimeter of the gym while everyone had started eating for probably 25, 30. It was pretty much cold by the time I even was down enough to, the floor was moving under me as I was walking around. Looked like it was the ocean under me. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, you remember at your first certification when, Taryn, the original test was Fran. You finished the certification and your last workout was Fran. Then at the time, Justin didn't have a test. I think I was in one of the first classes who did actually have a test. Mm-hmm. And they had serious judges. Of course, you have like 30 people doing Fran at the same time. And the guy who was judging me no-rep me like 5 times on my round of 9 pull-ups. I had like 2 minutes. Do you remember that?
No, I would murder somebody. I'm not. Who was that? You're in Wilmington there, right? Yeah.
Mine was Wilmington, yeah.
Yours was your second was Lexington, right, Jeff?
That's
where
where
we
we
went
went to take the test because they implemented the test. That's when y'all broed out with Rich Froning for a while.
Yeah.
That's right. We met Rich Froning the year before he won.
Yes, and we got caught in a snowstorm on the way back, right?
Yeah, that was scary going across that mountain in a I don't even know what we were in, but the cops
Your truck.
shouldn't go, and we're like, we're gonna go. But
Yeah.
we made it.
Like, we hear what you're saying, but we're going to do it anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a fun time. The first one was Fran, and they had like a rhino line bars there. I've never seen anything like it. And I ripped 3 calluses off each hand and was just bleeding. And then they're like, here, get a beer. I'm like, dude, I was going to vomit. Like, it'd be like shaking up a baby and handing it to somebody. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's crazy.
Welcome to the club, bro. Donuts and
Yeah,
beer.
you're in. Yeah, exactly. And it was funny. I think if I remember correctly, it was, you know how they'll do, or at least they did for us, like the workshop where they bring you into the classroom and they talk about things. I think they had just talked about nutrition. We went outside and we did that workout, and then we roll out to boxes of donuts and stuff. It was hilarious.
Where'd you have yours, Taryn? Where'd you?
Cookville.
Yeah, same. It was the same for us because apparently there's like a legendary donut,
Yeah.
I guess, company nearby.
Oh, yeah.
So they brought. It was the same for me, Taryn. They were like, "Do you want this?" I was like, "Is this a test? Am I being punked?"
Yeah, I'm about to fail.
No, they have those. It's cheap too, man. Like, well, flour and sugar are cheap, but they have those like they call them donut knots or something like that. They're like this long. It's like and they kind of braid it together.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, beautiful segue. We had a question come in from, I think it was a Bristol member. Yep, Will. What to do when you are craving sugar? ? So, nice little segue in.
Dairy Queen Blizzard cookie dough. No, I'm kidding.
One time, as fast as possible. Now, I would say, for me anyways, if we're trying to stay on track as best as possible and do our best not to eat hyper palatable foods or super calorically dense foods, but still past that sugar craving point, I'd say fruit is a pretty good one. Sugar is sugar to some degree, but when it's surrounded with fiber and maybe some micronutrients and to the point where you can't eat as much of it, that's a good route to go. Probably not what you wanted to hear necessarily, Will, sorry. Maybe, but I would go just try to eat some good fruit.
And it may be worth
Just to pass the time.
Yeah, evaluating other meals. Are you eating enough? Because if you're not eating enough, you're probably going to be like your body's like, hey, I need some food. Are you eating too much of that stuff? It's just like you're addicted to it. So I would probably evaluate that and maybe try to get back on track. Will and I have kind of talked about, he said he's had a hard time being at home, and it's really hard with convenience and not going anywhere to eat properly because all you have to do is sit there and think about stuff. Yeah. So I would look at, make sure you're eating enough and you're getting enough sleep. And I'll hand it off to G and Steve if they got anything.
My answer would be twofold. It's according to how frequently he is craving the sugar. So like if it's like once every now and again and he just wants to splurge and go get that Dairy Queen or whatever, I don't personally have a problem with that every now and again. That way you can wipe the slate clean and go right back to work. I think that's fine. If it's something that's frequent, like it sounds like that's the approach you guys were taking. We used to eat stuff that was really good for us, but would kind of help us substitute. And I'll give one example. We used to get real dark chocolate. You guys remember we would melt that down into almond butter and just kind of go from there. So I would say try to find the healthy alternatives that are going to give you kind of close to the same feeling as that sugar you're craving. So those are my two answers, I guess, in one. It's like either go for it or have a substitute that's near it.
Like an 85%, like an 85% or something like that, Steve. 85, 90% lint.
Sure, yeah, and you can even use like a little bit of honey to sweeten it. We've done that before too.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was back in the day. I mean, that wasn't as far back as the Hardee's Thick Burger day, but it was pretty close. So
I remember you could buy the fresh ground almond butter at Ingles. We'd melt half a bar of chocolate and put maybe a couple tablespoons of honey in there and just mix it up, and you just have you get corn. I'm going to come from left field, and I'm not normally one to try to hack biology
Yeah, you're there.
and speaking. Sometimes a quick fix is drink a big glass of water and brush your teeth. It'll put something in your belly and it'll cleanse your palate. You guys know what happens when you brush your teeth and you like take a drink of orange juice. It tastes horrible because of something chemically that I can't remember the name of. Not something that is a long-term fix, doesn't really shore up real behavioral issues, but it could be a plug into the leak at the bottom of a boat, particularly now during this time. And actually, Taryn, you already mentioned the segue. We all kind of came with some ideas that we thought would be worth discussing. And I'm going to address the three of you, and then we can come back and pivot back and forth. What individually has been your biggest struggle with pursuing wellness? And if you'd like to put it within the context of this COVID-19 time period, I feel like that's probably more useful. Should I start?
Sure.
Yeah, kind of give us an example of where your headspace is as far as you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. So in the bigger picture, I think Justin and my individual philosophies separate sometimes, and that's why we complement each other so well. In the past, unless my training has taken a very purposeful tack, I have a hard time keeping consistent, where Justin likes to, I don't want to speak for Justin, but I know he has a different philosophy than I do. And it's like, I'm so far in one direction that if it doesn't have a purpose, I don't want to do it. And sometimes I'll just shrug my shoulders and not want to train. And I think that's just as bad as becoming too lackadaisical. So for me, seeking purpose, and you guys have seen the red hoodies that say all training is an active philosophy. I think I wear that badge a little bit too deeply. Maybe it's for better or worse. I like to have a purpose for everything that I do. And if I don't see a purpose, and oftentimes I'll just kind of have a half-assed attempt at whatever it is I'm doing. To put that into the context of the COVID-19, everything seemed purposeless right now for us. It's a really big challenge for me. So eating without really any sort of traction or any sort of direction, I'm not eating with any sort of goals. Training is what we can do. So for right now, I'm okay with whatever it is that we're doing exercise-wise. But for me, unless I have a precise carrot to chase, these guys will reference, oftentimes I use a stick or a carrot and ask them what's their motivation. Is it the motivation of reward, or is it the motivation of missing the reward, so the punishment? Throughout the last month, I have kind of wandered aimlessly, eating aimlessly, not holding myself to any kind of standard. I still try to train pretty well, but that has bled over into sleeping poorly. I talked to Steve this morning. He sent me a message, and I slept until 9 a.m. I couldn't tell you the last time that's happened to me. I'm going to bed at midnight. Before that, this whole last year, I was trying to be in bed by 9 p.m. And I'm lucky now to be in bed at the 11 o'clock hour and up in the 8 o'clock hour. So it's like this whole thing has been topsy-turvy. So if you happen to be struggling with these sorts of things, I want you to understand that it has been a major hiccup in my normal life's routine, and you're not alone. So we're suffering right here at your side, and it's not easy for me to even tempt myself, knowing what I know and having the experience that I have, which is some. I'm not saying I have the most experience and the most knowledge in this arena, but it's tough, guys. So hang in there, dig your toes in as best you can. If you can find a toe hold or a finger hold in any front, just maintain that. I don't know if that kind of.
Sure, yeah, that's a lot to dig into. I guess I'll go second. So, I guess to me, it's we're all dealing with the lack of routine. I'm a routine person. Like if you had me, working with me, if you give me a system to uphold and to complete all the time, I will stay with the same system until you change it. That's how weird I am. So, for instance, like some of the managerial work I do here is very repetitive, and I will not change it until he comes in and says, all right, this report's useless. I'll keep doing it, even if it is useless. I don't care. I'm so programmed with routine that I have to keep doing it. So that's the one thing about me. So it's kind of throwing everybody off with this COVID-19 thing. My routine is completely off, which for whatever reason, I really love a routine, even though I'm kind of ADHD, like we've talked about before. It's really weird to have that contradiction. So that's the first thing I would say is it's just the whole thing going on that's throwing us off. And then second, just trying to think my way through this.
I think your ADHD complements the need for routine, because if you don't have the routine, then your mind does wander. Sure. Justin talked about having guardrails. I think that's a perfect analogy for a lot of us this time. Yeah. Not to tell you what you think.
No,
I see it complementing what you're describing.
Yeah, and then other than that, like I've had habits for so long that coming back to, you were talking about you needed to have a central point to go towards when you train. I'm kind of weird. Like, to me, as long as I'm training, because I've done it every day since I was about, usually I guess about high school is when I started, about 14 years old. And my dad's done it for 40 years. We never really had – I used to have points when I was competitive where I was going towards, but it became such an ingrained habit that nowadays I just enjoy training periods, so I don't really have something to go towards. And then a lot of the things I'm after now are in our business and business in general. And so to me, just to be able to train, 30 minutes to an hour a day, that's about all I'm looking for. And I guess I don't really have an actual specific exercise goal. And I don't know about you guys, but that's the way I feel about the whole thing. It's thrown me off my habit or my routine, but I guess just being able to train, period, is just kind of ingrained with who I am. So I guess it's not been that difficult to train, I guess, even though I'd rather be training with a class. I do love that. I miss that. So that's my answer in a big circle.
Yeah, I wandered through mine too. You guys want to field that one?
Yeah. You want to go ahead?
G, keep me in the rails if I get going off on a tangent here. Yeah, but it's like G was talking about have very different philosophy. G's like purpose. Me, it's like even when I was competed in the American Open those 2 years, like my training was just like, hey, whatever I felt like that day, I would go in and do. I remember telling Galen one day that didn't have time to train, so I think I did 25 deadlifts at 115 and just went to the house. Like somebody left their weight out, and I was like, all right, this is all I got time, and I just left. It's just stuff like that. I like more variety, more new stuff. I'm always after that shiny penny. But then again, on the other side, I know that fitness needs to be a staple. So I keep it consistent. I've been pretty consistent on this, 4 to 5 days a week with the COVID stuff. So it's been good. I did not have time to train yesterday. Went and hung out with my mom till late, but it's been pretty good during the COVID for that. It's actually kind of like Steve got me back on zone diet mostly, or at least paying attention to my food. If I'm more in a gym schedule routine, I get off the rails more, I think, because I'm a poor planner with sleep and I just feel bad. Sleep's probably my biggest thing. I could stay up till 3 a.m. and sleep till 11 every day, and I would be perfectly happy with that. It wouldn't bother me. I do not like going to sleep at night. I like taking naps. It's weird. That's me. I don't know if the railroad had anything to do with that, where I was on a swing shift when I was younger. Pretty scheduled, I guess, 9:30 to 10. Waking up 7-ish, going to school, something like that. But when I got older, jobs, life happens, and my sleep schedule was completely screwed. Robin and I went to bed last night at 1:30. I got up at 10 this morning, 9:30, somewhere through there. So that's my life right now. I do better with spontaneity to keep me happy. As far as, like I said, sticking to the training program, if I had to do the same protocol Monday through Friday for 8 weeks, the exact same thing, I would probably quit working out. That's as simple as that. That's not it. Anything you want to add to that, G? You know me better than I do.
No, I think that's why we complement each other so well, because I'm almost too oriented towards task and end, and you're almost too oriented towards fun and have a good time and nuance or new things. So it works really well. We create recipes that balance both of us in the right direction, as opposed to pulling each other more towards the poles, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I'll add one more thing. This is kind of me in a nutshell. If I don't want to train, which it does happen quite a bit, I mean, probably at this point, probably once or twice a week right now, but I will just do something I like doing. So I know that, for instance, I know that with people see a workout and they're like, I really don't want to do that, so they won't work out at all. I'm like, why don't you just do something different? If it's that big of a deal to you, just switch it. To me, or if I even have a bad day in the gym where I don't feel that good, and the competitive side of me is like, this is for time or this is for weight, I need to do that. If I feel really bad, I'm just like, finish it. Just finish it. Who cares? So that's stuff that's helped me, is either switch it to something you like a little more, just for that day, and then go back to the hard stuff the next day, or at least, finish whatever you're doing.
Yeah, slow down. Like a good example of that was Saturday. I was beat up Saturday, and I did that workout Saturday evening, probably about 5. What was it? Snatches, push-ups, squats. So did that and just paced the crud out of it, like 5 or 6 rounds, just moving in the living room with the cats looking at me. And I did not want to do it, but I felt great afterwards. It's like, all right, I'm glad I did that, but I didn't try to crush my competitive self.
Did you have on your hat?
No, did not.
You have to put a picture up on the screen of that, Jay. It's incredible.
That's amazing.
Incredible. Taryn, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I'll do my best to stay on track and answer what I think your question was about.
Biggest fitness struggle? I'll rephrase it. What would you classify pre-COVID-19? What did you struggle with most as whittling away and honing a healthy lifestyle? And within the context of this period that we all inhibit right now, what has been your biggest struggle? Or do they complement each other?
Yeah. Well, so to start pre-COVID and my early parts of CrossFit and this methodology of training was definitely battling the waves of motivation and determination, ups and downs, as a result, and from a couple of things, one of which, it's odd, I always reference and I kind of poke fun at myself and, use it as a little humility type thing, but a lot of it's driven from like aesthetic result, seeing improvements in body composition, which I've referenced a couple of times now, episode 1 and now here, of not a whole lot of change, struggle to put on weight, struggle to put on muscle mass. So it's easy when things are feeling good, your body feels good, you talk yourself into seeing the result in the mirror, or maybe you are seeing the result in the mirror. That's when things are good, and when I'm consistently training and when I'm eating right and I'm getting enough calories and I'm driven and focused with a little more order, I suppose, versus an injury pops up or I miss a week or something, and I can quickly talk myself into, oh, I look less the way I want to in the mirror, or, oh, I lost 2 pounds over that stint of time, or I come back in and have a bad squat day. Oh, I'm weaker now. So it's pretty, in my past, and even some still today, easy to slip back into the lack of motivation or diminishing motivation, which results in kind of a compounding effect that turns into, screw it, let's go get pizza and drink too much beer, or, and then you start playing around with too much chaos in that order chaos balance. So I was always trying to battle the wave of things are going good, I look good, I feel good in my eyes, I'm performing pretty well, and then that can turn on a dime and I'm back right down into a little bit of a gully or a valley. So battling that kind of stuff throughout my years now of training in this style has been tough. And I guess that's been pretty much all of my career through baseball. I mean, Galen, that's a sport where when you're high and you're good. When you're hitting the ball well, you're seeing it good. Everything's on point. When you're in a slump or in a drought, it's terrible. And maybe I've played that game my whole life, and I don't know if that kind of ingrained itself into my mindset of actual training, continue to pursue a goal or these goals. But the COVID situation, I've been fortunate because it's felt like a lifeline what we've been able to still provide. I'd say 5, sometimes 6 days a week, still holding on to the rope or to the buoy as the ship's bouncing around in the rough seas. Nutritionally speaking, it's chaotic just because it seems like that's, I don't know, the trend of a lot of people and myself included. But being able to chase down that endorphin release and the feeling after completing the training, especially doing so in the morning time and tee up the rest of your day, has certainly helped me. So certainly not dialed in, but being able to grasp and hold on to something during this time, I've been pretty fortunate to at least keep moving and keep that somewhat I'm riding maybe one of those little motivation highs as with a different frame of mind, as at least I'm able to do something, or at least I can get on a call and see faces and work out with people. So but I think hopefully that answered kind of your question about biggest struggles and where I am right now.
Yeah, I just don't want the perception to be it's easy for us, because it's not. It's not been easy at all. It's been one of the most challenging things for me, and I pride myself on being pretty much self-motivated and determined to do whatever it is I set my mind to do. The problem has been setting my mind to do something. So I just want you guys to understand we're all out here floating in this sea together. We just need to link arms and understand that we're making our way back towards safe harbor. I hope.
What I gather, Steve, we should have played baseball. We'd have a hell of a lot more patience.
That's it. Yeah.
You'd be able to handle not performing well frequently. Yeah. Definitely.
I played t-ball Little League growing up, and like I was the one out of the outfield or first base, like kicking rocks, picking up grass and throwing it and stuff like that. That was me the whole time.
Eating worms.
Yeah. No, it was Kit Kats and other sugary sweets.
I played t-ball for 1 year, and that was it.
I love batting. It's like, I don't know, it cracks me up. This is mine and Steve's like ADHD. It's like, oh, I love hitting the ball. I got to go stand in the field for 12 minutes.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and another thing that's really weird about me, and I guess it's happened all throughout the time I've been training here, there'll be moments where I will get lean. I'll be able to, be like Galen and Taryn, be able to see all my abs and everything and get super lean. And I'm like, this is boring. I want to go back to powerlifting or something. I'm weird like that. I don't know.
It is boring, man. Look at this is overrated. Lean is overrated.
Well,
Don't let them lie to you.
Well, then it's like that the opposite way. I'm like, dude, powerlifting. I'm like, man, I'm fat. I don't see my abs. This is weird. I just go back and
Your
forth.
pendulum just swinging back and forth hard.
I feel you, baby.
Yep.
That's great.
I can knock out this one of our last best questions to be able to hopefully expand upon maybe some future ideas or themes, and I'll let you guys handle this one. But when we do return to normalcy and we get back within the halls of the gym, Drew Leach, I believe, asked us if we have any future plans for on-site competition, or if that ship has already sailed, or digging into the brains on that question there.
I think we talked about it for years. We've never just followed through. I think it would be fun to do a like brother-sister gym like competition. Like only for Bristol and Morristown members, we get together, you choose who you want to be with. If we do teams or individual or whatever, I think that would be a really fun thing. And just maybe just the opportunity for us to get together and hang out, since we don't do it that often. So, G?
I'm not tied to any opinion there. I know for a while I was really burnt on the whole competitive hosting experience. I could be swayed to do it, and I could be swayed not to do it. If it's something that there's a demand for, I'm all for it. I think the idea of a 423 and 5 Rivers event day would be pretty fun. Just keep everything in-house, just a larger house that we're keeping it within. Yeah, that's there was a time when we hosted weightlifting competitions and CrossFit competitions. And, we still have the Burnout in Bristol idea that we worked on. We kind of played around in the turkey throwdown. So we're kind of warming to the idea again. I'm just not tethered to anything just yet, but I'm not opposed to it either.
For me, I think it's the context of which we do it in. So what I mean is, if we're going to do it with just the 2 gyms, I think that'd be a great idea. But when you start involving, people from the outside, and what I mean by that is like, if you get people in here and the judging isn't spot on, which people don't understand. I think that's, and I'm not saying Drew doesn't. I'm just saying most people don't understand the headaches that go with putting a competition on. Okay, so if we're doing it in-house like we're speaking of, I think that's a better idea. But when you involve other gyms and other individuals, then you have to make sure, well, first of all, we have to be on top of judges all the time. Second of all, I don't know how these other gyms run their competitions and things like that, but you take the chance on, and not that it's about making any money, but sometimes it costs you money to put competitions on. So you have to think about that. And there's a bunch of, I won't say issues, but something close to that comes along with putting a competition on. So I would say that's one of the reasons we've stepped out of that light and back into the shadows, if you will, because, and again, not that it's all about money, judging, things like that, but those things are tied into it, and they can be, and getting enough help. That's another one. It's kind of hard to put those things together and not be stressed out. And then you're packaging 2 or 3 months of your time into one day. So it's a lot to put together. But as far as in-house, those things are always fun, I think. But that's my 2 cents.
So if you're watching this and you like the idea that Justin presented there, sound off. Let us know what you think about maybe a gathering of 2 locations and hosting a big in-house day and turn it into a get-together afterwards. I think it'd be great. We do it's always tricky because I know everyone's schedules and we have a little bit of distance to cover between us, but it's tough sometimes to get, Bristol folks to Morristown gatherings and Morristown folks to Bristol gatherings. And we'd love, because we are all, 10Xers and the outlier group, and to be able to bring it together a little tighter between those 2 locations, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Maybe like 1, maybe possibly 2 workouts, or 2, maybe a 1 workout with 2 parts, just to get everybody done. So I would just want to hang out. This is me just wanting to have fun and socialize and see people, meet new people, and just build the community that we have, even though it's by far, I think, the best.
The fuzz is here.
Uh-oh.
You got company in Bristol.
I'm kidding. We hear people milling around outside, so we're just locking the door. Sorry to interrupt that train of thought. I'm with you, Jay. It'll be more for the community. And honestly, Drew makes a good point. Maybe he does it unintentionally, but when we are allowed to open again, maybe that's how we celebrate reuniting and celebrating the community that we are through some fitness and through some spirits and other things.
That'd be great. It'd be great.
That was exhausted the questions there for the most part that we could expand upon anyway. So if you guys want to dig into your own.
We could probably dovetail into what we discussed yesterday, and I posted about the Tennessee governor opening or permitting the reopening of gyms in a phased plan, but certain counties are unable to participate. You guys understand the nature of that better than we do here. So if you guys want to address some of those incontinuities of government as opposed to full continuity statewide.
Sure. So to my understanding, you essentially have health departments set up across the state of Tennessee, and the vast majority of the counties within the state of Tennessee are connected through the state's health department agency, or maybe lack of a better term or lack of a better way to put it. There's a handful of counties which you saw if you read the article that was posted that actually provide their own health department services within the county, that is, takes recommendations and guidance and follows guidelines of the state, but are actually separated from the Tennessee State Health Department group. Unfortunately, here in Bristol, Sullivan County, which is the county that the city resides in, is one of those. And they're, as a result of being independent of the state's jurisdiction, I guess, they're still on hold, even with Bill Lee's release come May 1 of our business types for opening. So that leaves us still in a holding pattern of Sullivan County until the county health department agency makes its decision on when we can open up. Now that could happen in the next day or 2. That releases us just like it releases the state, or it could be continued to be pushed on based on what they're observing or their funding or how they feel in regards to the region. So we're a little bit more handcuffed than Morristown, just as a result of us being one of those. How many counties was it? Was it 6?
Like 6.
6, yeah. One of those 6 counties that, for lack of a better term, run their own health departments, or lack of a better way of putting it.
So suffice it to say, we're still not certain gyms can reopen here. We've seen it in Georgia, I think now, and maybe it was mentioned in South Carolina. It seems as though we'll be able to follow suit here in Tennessee. For now, we're in a holding pattern, but we're planning dry rehearsal style that we will likely open again on May 1st within the parameters of those protocols that we announced. So we'd have to limit attendance. We'd obviously need to maintain proper space, but we want you guys to get in here and grab a hold of a barbell and do some strength work as soon as we can possibly do it safely. But it's not just going to be willy-nilly come on in and have 25 people in every single class, unfortunately, for now. But
That's
still within the
tricky
plan.
with programming and stuff as well, because like Rob and I were talking this morning, just to kind of add to yours, like, what if they mandate it where we have to wear masks, which would be all right for us. I think that it's just going to be a barbell cycle, maybe some heavy lifting, a lot of less breathing, stuff like that, because I think everybody wants to touch a barbell. I haven't touched a barbell since we stopped. So it's just been, I've been doing the workouts right along with you all, but Yeah, we all have to wear masks in the gym. It's going to be a different little place, so we'll have to just wait for those. It's what
It'll be the
Robin said.
best opportunity to take pictures of all time.
That's what Robin said.
It's gonna look like Bane. It's gonna look like Bane's in here back spotting.
If you didn't see Galen, where I was talking, he was doing a little camera motion. But I was like, Robin said the same thing. He's like, man, it's going to make some awesome pictures. It's going to be so cool. But,
What was the big hype, I guess, a couple years ago, the elevation training masks? Those guys are going to come back and be like, you called us stupid. Now look at you.
that's funny. Never used one of those. Never used one. You use one, G?
No, I have a hard time breathing with this giant meat suit that I wear around anyways. I don't need to make it any more challenging.
Just hang on to that term, meat suit, because that's what I'd rather say.
That's great. So fingers crossed that Sullivan County acts in accordance with Tennessee, and that we can follow suit with what Morristown hopes to do as these days unfold too. We also talked, and maybe we can continue to expand on this a little bit more, but of going kind of reverse engineering our stages that are our phases that we use into maybe what we did as phase 1.5, which gets you in the doors. It does, as he mentioned, limit sizes of classes and kind of upregulates the sanitation practices that we're doing. So fingers crossed that that's the direction we're moving with 1.5 ideas. So.
Yeah, and to add to that, if you still want to stay at home, we understand, and we'll have the at-home option as well. So,
yeah,
definitely want to make sure we say that.
Yeah. Oh, no. I look forward to it. I just want to hug somebody. I'm going to listen to Seal, Kiss from a Rose.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be kind of weird, though, in a way. You'll have to ask somebody, if you want to shake hands or not. Like, to me, I don't know if you guys have had that going on. It's like, I would shake your hand, and then you feel like you're offending them. I'm like, I'm not shaking your hand, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it gets weird either way.
It gets awkward, doesn't it? Like, you jostle in and out of positions.
He's like,
I went to shake a guy's hand, and we both stopped, and we looked at each other, and I was like, I don't care. Do you? He said, no, I don't care. We went for it.
You son of a bitch.
that's how COVID got in Morristown.
Yeah.
That's good.
Consensual handshaking, yeah.
Old COVID carpenter over here.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, hopefully we can, like Terrence said, reverse the phases, and then definitely we're gonna spend all of our money in sanitization. That's all it's gonna be. So had to up membership prices just to cover cleaning supplies. Totally kidding.
Run.
Yeah.
You guys want to fire some rapid fire questions at us or us, y'all?
Yeah, I have a few. You guys want me to shoot? I'll shoot them out yet, and you guys can follow suit.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. What is a healthy food that you hate?
Ooh.
Cucumbers.
Broccoli all day.
Speaking of broccoli, does anyone, maybe a year ago, we were traveling around and Steve showed us, and Justin might have to inject a clip here. Steve showed us a method for eating broccoli when he happens to be around pancakes. All right, it's dinner time. Show us his technique. You, Steve.
Anytime I go to eat broccoli, it's a technique I always use.
It's amazing. You smell the maple syrup, honey, and sweetness.
Just go.
And then pouring a piece of broccoli.
Don't take too much time.
So broccoli for Steve, cucumbers for me.
Depends on where you stand on the health of these foods, but based on the sodium, all that jazz. But olives kill me. I can't do olives.
I love olives. Love them.
Can't do an olive.
I'm a grapefruit hater from the core. I freaking hate grapefruit. It's the worst thing made, in my opinion. I think of what I call an electric polar bear sweat or something like that. I can't remember. That's what it reminds me of.
All right, that was fun. Next, I have 4 more. What was your favorite cartoon as a child? I would say mine starts with I Have the Power, He-Man, Master of the Universe.
Mine is, I don't know if you guys live in, maybe Steve, but Rocket Power. Do you guys know what that one is?
Yeah, that probably comes out to thousands.
Yeah,
you probably don't know.
old as the hills.
I
don't know about that. It had every bit of like surfing, skateboarding. It was like these coastal little kids that were, I don't know. It was like Lords of Dogtown turned cartoon.
Oh. Lords of Bobcat. I hadn't heard that forever.
Remember that one?
Yeah, the movie.
I mean, for me, it was like Nickelodeon. So Rocco's Modern Life. You had Doug. You had all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I would watch them all back to back anyway.
Rocket Power was on Nickelodeon too.
Yep.
I'm-
I'm with you, Taryn. I'm along the same lines.
Woogity, 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 woogity.
That's right.
I'm going to say Robin Hood, the cartoon movie. Best soundtrack ever. I'm telling you, go listen to it. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Is that the movie that has the snake head and the balloon and his tail's like a propeller pushing him around?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why that. You'll have to put a screenshot of that up too. Then.
Well,
All right, your hero is a child.
Oh, okay.
It's not far from home for me right now, and the timing is perfect. It's Michael Jordan. Watch The Last Dance on ESPN. It's amazing so far. For better or worse. And
I kid you not that as a kid, and I don't know how I latched onto this guy. I'm not even a huge professional football fan. I'll watch it, but I somehow ended up with a life-size poster, 6 foot tall, whatever, poster of Dan Marino dropping back in the pocket for the Miami Dolphins over my bed. So when I would lay down, I would look up at this huge poster of Dan Marino. So outside of that, Chipper Jones probably, but Dan Marino was forced on me somehow.
Did you play football there?
No. I played 1 year of like Pee-wee football and hung it up. But no, yeah, that was – so he accidentally became a hero of mine, but Chipper Jones, I guess, is a more realistic.
Mine's tough. I had so many heroes in different sports. You know, like you could say Arnold for bodybuilding. You had for me, I'm gonna go Ric Flair. I got to do it. Wrestling. I'm going wrestling.
Hit him with
I'm going
the
Ric
stick.
Flair.
Hit us with it.
Oh, man. You guys bringing up wrestling memories. I had like the wrestling buddy Hulk Hogan one. Did you ever have some of those?
Yes.
Oh, man. I had
Yes.
like I'd throw that thing everywhere. But my hero, I'd probably Jordan as well, G. You know, I remember watching NBA Inside Stuff on Saturday morning when he retired and almost cried because they did like a simply the best thing for him. It's awesome.
last one I have. What was the first album you remember buying?
First rock album was AC/DC. First rap album, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, the Carter.
First album, Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 2.
Man, that's a tough one. I came up through that weird like FrostWire, LimeWire type era where music was just getting peppered all around and we were loading them up on MP3s. So album, it would be like the one that comes to mind for some reason is one of Drake's albums like in high school that I bought at Walmart and sat in the parking lot and didn't even like it. So I didn't buy many more albums.
So in other words, us three, me, Justin, Galen got ours legally. Taryn got his illegally.
I don't know what you're talking about. That was completely legal. You just took the risk of burning your computer down with viruses. So.
Yeah, you're afraid that somebody's going to like kick in the front door to take it. And everything.
Mine is going to take you way back, maybe you, Jay. And it was not an album; it was a tape. So you remember you had to like roll those things back in, but it was MC Hammer.
It was wow.
From Disc Jockey in
Dude,
Richland.
that's exactly where I bought my Use Your Illusion. It was a tape as well. No lie, in the Claypool Hill Mall.
What a world, man! What a world. By the way, if you guys didn't know, we're really just storing up all of our secret passwords so that we can hack each other later on. So we're gonna ask, like, what's your mother's maiden name?
Yes,
What's the name of your first pet? All right, that's all I got.
I have a few on here. Let's see.
Favorite song at the moment?
Woo! Jewel by Flume. Don't ask. That's all I'll leave it at.
For me, you guys are going to I don't care if you make fun of me, whatever. I've got the Blues by the Rolling Stones. They're amazing. So
Blues by the Rolling Stones. I can't remember the name of it, so I don't know if it really counts. Rue Payne's new song, Color in Your Heart. That's probably mine.
Bon Iver just released a song that Steve told us about. It's PDLIF, Please Don't Live in Fear. It's pretty good. I don't know. I don't have one. I guess that would be the closest thing to a favorite currently.
All right. Normal day, how many Krispy Kreme hot and ready donuts could you eat in 10 minutes?
Depends on how many you buy.
Yeah, but
A dozen.
I'm sitting in the Krispy Kreme place, and I can just keep getting them on refill. I mean, I would assume it's going to be 10 minutes of consistent eating.
The line just
Yeah.
right in your mouth.
Steve's got his head under the glazing waterfall, and it's just filling his mouth full.
Don't mind me, guys. Just keep working. I'm going to be back here.
Yeah, I'd say I could easily eat one every minute to every 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's
On the minute for 10 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
– I mean, for me, I think I can get through I feel like 2 dozen maybe. I'd be sick. But
10 minutes it's a lot of chewing, but I can definitely do 5 to 10 without hesitating.
Yeah.
Easily.
Get a little French fry in the middle to kind of break up your palate a little bit. Then you can just keep going.
Oh yeah, a little hack in that.
you guys hear that little
Savory.
another biohack?
That's right.
Another biohack for you guys.
Professional
Yeah.
eaters.
That's not the best biohack we've mentioned, but
If you want to die early, ask me. I'll tell you.
Favorite, well, I guess most quirky or odd hobby or interest that you have that most people would think was a little bit unique.
Shoot, I might think.
While y'all think on that, mine would be keeping a bunch of house plants and doing aquarium work. Shout out to you, Mo, on that one if you're watching.
Mine's pretty weird, but it's in the same vein. It's vermicomposting,
Oh,
which is essentially composting kitchen scraps, feeding worms, creating compost that you then use to plant a vegetable garden or flowers or whatever you might want to use the black gold for. So
we're interconnected, Galen. There's some connection between us. Just yeah.
ooh, Jay, what you got? I don't know.
Dude, me and you is the same, Steve. It's like, I don't know. Like, there's nothing really that, like, I do unless
I'm pretty boring. Like, all I do is read business books. I like to, when I'm bored, I like to go riding around. I mean, I ride around town. That's it. I like that. And I'm trying to think, I like watching old movies I've watched 100 times. I'll keep watching them. I don't like watching new movies as much because I know the feeling I'm going to get from that movie, and I just recreate it. That's all I want.
That's where you and I are different, Steve.
Okay. You like all the new stuff?
I don't want the same feeling. I want a new feeling.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I've really gotten into photography and just camera equipment in general. Like, I was telling Taryn, I was watching a thing where Arri Alexa, that's what they used to film Hollywood movies. It's like a $150,000 camera body. That's not counting all the stuff you have to put on, like the lenses, the monitors, the audio, and all that stuff. I was talking about Taryn, they have a lens that they made. I think it's made from magnesium, maybe. But they have to slow grind it because if they go too fast, the magnesium will catch on fire and you can't put it out. It just has to burn out. So they have a lens that's made of that, but where it's super light, it makes it way better for people to use. And like that stuff just interests me. I watched a 40-minute documentary on a aperture of, you'll know what this means, aperture of 0.73.
Dang.
0.73. It's completely manual focus. It's ridiculous, which means that there's a whole lot of light going in there, and like basically you have a millimeter of focus and everything else is blurry. How you get that nice bokeh effect around it, like it's a millimeter that you can see and that's it. But I watched a documentary and guys made like a little short video using one of those, and it was fast. So fast.
So the aperture is like the window of the camera for those of you guys who, the bigger the window, the more light comes in. Like Jay's saying, you can't focus on quite as much.
Yeah,
The only reason I know that's because you've led me.
This is the part of the video where you have to edit it and put in like subtitles to explain what you guys are talking about. And you see me and Taryn off like we're in a waiting room somewhere. We don't know what's going on.
I
My
got
question.
one
Go ahead, Taryn. You go ahead.
last one. If you had to do one of these 3 things every day for a substantial amount of time for the rest of your life, what would it be? Number 1, laundry, all of laundry, washing it, folding it, putting it away. Number 2, hand washing, a substantial, let's say an hour of each, hand washing dishes, or this one's pretty bad, a real jacked up cat litter box that you got to clean out. One of those 3, you got to do it every single day for the rest of your life. Laundry, hand wash dishes, or clean a bad off cat litter box.
How many cats do you have to have to have a bad
Hypothetically speaking here. It depends. Lauren seems to struggle with cleaning ours out.
I'd say probably dishes if I had to pick.
Dishes.
I would agree. Dishes implies that I'm eating well and cooking at home. So
Yeah.
I'll take the chore with the enjoyment.
Doug, yeah.
There's your carrot and stick for me.
I'm going to go ahead and third that. I'm going to say dishes. Yeah, I'd rather be doing dishes.
I'll probably do laundry.
You get a little meditation on laundry.
Well, I don't like any of those because I do them, and it's not fun. Laundry, though, I would say, it's somewhat fulfilling, I guess. That's all I got. What you got, Stevie?
I'm going to dive in a little deeper. Let's say the gyms had not come about. Where do you think you would be? What would you be doing with your life?
Clock tower, sniper rifle, bottle of Jack Daniels, Oxycontin. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God. So we'll be living too long, I guess.
So this was his saving grace, in other words.
Nah, I would probably still be on the railroad. I was a conductor for 4.5 years. Job wasn't bad. It was just the lifestyle, the hours, 7 a.m. one day, 7 p.m. the next, 2 a.m., 1 p.m., like whenever they call you. So that's probably what I would hope I wouldn't be doing that. But I don't know. I've just been opened up to so much more stuff through the gym from people we've met, and given the opportunity, we actually have a little bit of time. So I don't know. It's weird to think about. I still have bad dreams about the railroad, no lie. Like once a month, I'll have one where I'm working. I'm like, why am I here? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough question.
I would have to say, I mean, I guess in a perfect world, outside of doing this, it would find myself back to the roots of something environmental science related, what I studied in school. That was the grand plan to start off. So I don't know, the fisheries, biology, aquatic ecology, forestry, something along those lines.
I'm gonna answer in two different ways, and they're gonna sound like they're so far apart because they are. Part of me thinks that I should have continued down a computer science path. That's where I started originally. So some sort of programming, scalable coding, business, entrepreneurship. And the other part of me knows that side of me is a fool, and I would like to be outdoors, working in a park, like a park ranger, or moving out west as a hand. Who knows? But neither one is reality. I'd like to think I've landed where I needed to be.
Sure. I guess for me, there's a few different routes. If it's something that I wish I would have been doing, this would have worked out, something in real estate would have been great. But as far as like what I think it would have been, probably a factory job of some kind. Because I was already hanging out with bad people, so I might have either went down that road or I would have gotten a factory job and just stuck at that. I think that's what would have happened. So.
All right.
All right. Let me hit you with another one. I got more.
Well, I was going to build off of that. So let's say we find out that bumper plates and kettlebell swings cause cancer and you die in a week, and we have to close down the gym. Where do you go from here?
Like right away.
Right away. Like what would you – we'll say you have 6 months to make a choice. Give you a little bit of time to think about it.
Well, right away, I don't know.
Or say a few weeks. A few weeks would be better. I think a few weeks. Like, all
Yeah,
right.
not too long, not too short.
I think the NSCA actually put out this study yesterday. I'm being honest. Can't trust them anyway, so it doesn't matter for them.
That's tricky.
I'm going to put a SpongeBob 3 hours later.
What about you? Here, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I would, if something happened, like we've met enough people, I would try to find something in like a service industry type thing just so I can be around people.
I have a lazy answer, and that's I would leverage the community that we have here into hopefully offering myself a few different options while I make my mind up from there on, probably. So you guys know who you are. Hey, girl. Hey, girls.
Yeah.
Hello, Jim. Hello, Jim.
I would probably, in an effort to, I guess, pursue what I thought I would be doing if the gym wouldn't have been presented to me, head out and try to find some volunteering experience and then build that towards maybe something in a park or something, or regionally or locally. just start that path, I guess. That's a tough question to answer.
Yeah, very tough.
Yeah, I'm with Jay. I want to be around people, so I'm with Jay on that one. I would like to think I would get into sales. I like sales, so that's
Don't
what-
do it.
I would see I would like if I don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the gym's going anywhere. I'm just saying hypothetically, I love the gym. There's nothing else I'd really be doing in the world. But something like Mark Eubanks is doing. I always looked up to Mark, got a lot of respect for him. Heck of a job. So
Hat tip to Mark Eubanks.
yeah, Eubanks is the man. He's leaving us May 1st, baby. We'll miss you, Marcus. And your beautiful wife and wonderful kids.
See you, Mark. We love you too. Even though we're not up there, we love you too.
Keep Nashville together, right? Nashville, right?
That's right. We're gonna go down there and party with him a little.
Are we gonna keep deep diving into hypotheticals, or you may take another one for you? I'll take you on another question I've got.
Give me.
Okay. If you research anything to do with nutrition and exercise, if you're trying to educate yourselves, there are, I don't know, a million different results. Who would you all say that people should give a listen to educationally when it comes to nutrition and exercise? Because, again, if they get on there and look, they'll find anything. And there's a lot of people out there that don't know what they're talking about that have big microphones. So who would you all suggest? Do you have a person or entity in mind?
I'll give you three, my top three. You guys know the first one, Rob Wolf.
Rob Wolf, baby.
Peter Attia. I really trust what he puts out there.
Smart.
And then the third one could be kind of by group effort. Mark Sisson or Rhonda Patrick.
I call it mine.
Even Joe Rogan. I think Joe Rogan's a pretty good disseminator of information. He at least provides vantage points that are respectable and walks around a bunch of different issues. Those would be mine if I didn't steal yours.
Yeah, well, you got the Rhonda Patrick and the Rob Wolf. Those are two. Both, nearly all of what they say, especially Rhonda, both backed by evidence and science, and they don't seem to get swayed by the momentum of movements like a lot of people do. So those two would probably be my big ones right off the top of my head.
Rhonda Patrick, Rob Wolf for sure, and then I would throw probably Matt Lalonde in there. I don't know what he's doing now, but just some of the videos we watched through the OPEX nutrition certification. Matt Lalonde, Canadian. He says Iron. I think he's incredibly smart, incredibly fit, and really good to listen to. Easy to listen to.
And one I thought about while you guys were talking, Ben Greenfield is pretty.
Oh, yeah.
I respect him quite a bit.
Absolutely.
He was on the Portal, by the way, the podcast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
How was it?
With Derek Weinstein. Yeah, it was pretty good. They kind of talked past each other a few times. I'm not certain that you can watch it and make your own judgments.
Yeah, I would say Rhonda Patrick, Ben Greenfield for, I think, as far as different remedies or new ideas in the exercise and nutrition game. It was a train, guys. We got to go.
I'll see you guys. Get to work.
So, Rhonda Patrick's really good for any sort of, if you want to learn anything about the science behind saunas, using saunas, she does a great job there as far as talking about new heat synthesized proteins that are created, but we're not going to go down that road. I like those two for that. I like Greg Glassman for CrossFit, of course. I like Mark Ribito for powerlifting, I would say, or just getting started in general with strength. And I think that's actually the name of his
Starting strength.
Yeah. So
Freudian slip.
Yeah. So Mike Bergner for Olympic weightlifting, probably be a good way to go. And then just trying to think of any other. I guess just try to cover them all. That's probably about it, though. I guess.
David Goggins.
Oh, okay. Mentality.
I'm so against David Goggins. I'm so against it. I like his mental aspect, but there's no. It's a very niche group that can fit into his parameters. It's like, your leg's broken? All right, today you're going to run 38K. Let's go.
I certainly am on the fence about Goggins. I like what he can do, but I don't know that what he promotes, circle back to podcast one, is in any way sustainable, not just physically, but emotionally and with relationships and with a career. So I'll step down off of that little soapbox. I think he's a likable guy. I think he's likable at a few different arms lengths.
Sure.
Roger that.
Yeah.
Roger that.
Did you have to pedal this at that degree? I'm just like, Jocko doesn't do that. Andy Stump doesn't do that. Yeah. It's just like, all right. And they're both really good.
That's a fair point.
I really like Andy Stump as well. Likable dude. The Killcliff guy?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think all around for everything, I love Greg Glassman. And it's just like, he can tell me to drink mustard and milk, and I would probably try it. Like, whether it's diet, nutrition, health, working out, his science. He had a COVID-19 video talking about a dumpster fire with processed foods and how your body reacts from inflammatory and immune response and stuff. He's trained as basically a scientist from his dad. So it's really, really, really insightful.
Okay, let's say that, not to get political, but let's say that we're all capable of anything. We're all special, okay? So with that being said, let's say you could do whatever you want. What career field would you have wanted to shine in the most? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm asking it correctly. But like, let's say you had the capabilities to be the top star in whatever field you wanted to be in. You know, like a kid wants to work with dinosaurs. You wanted to work with dinosaurs, like, right?
Paleontologist.
Paleontologist, okay. So if you could shine in any career field, what would you choose? Would it still be the same as what we talked about before?
Realistically, it was probably the same. But when I was a kid, down years with paleontology, mine was wanting to be like a Top Gun type fighter pilot. I had every collectible, not every, but I had nearly all the model airplanes. And I would take fishing line and hang them from my ceiling in like little bank maneuvers and helicopter, I had a daggone fighter pilot.
Taryn is that kid that you see on movies that has the most amazing bedroom. You're like, why did I have that?
Yeah.
Dan Marino behind him the whole way.
Yeah, that's right.
Dan Marino's throwing
Man,
a
he's
fighter
on the
jet.
ceiling, man. He's hiding out. That was before the fighter jets. The fighter jets were, when everything started, you start thinking about what you want to do and all that jazz. And I had cloud wallpaper. It was interesting, but a fighter pilot for sure. And then I became awoken to the idea that I was not good at math. Never even got into physics, so that flushed pretty quickly right down the drain. But if I could pick one kind of dream career or whatever that was seated in my youthfulness, it was that.
I'd say youthfulness. I'd say something with music. Play guitar, start early. I don't know, I just love music. Like Galen and I, that's one of the reasons why we get along. And Taryn and Steve, we all love music. And it's just like, hey, can we go to a concert? Okay, we're going to a concert. Like, we all love music. And I don't know, my niece always says, music's my passion. She's like 10 years old. It's hilarious. But like, that's probably mine too. Anything music.
I kind of gave yours away, I guess.
Yeah, it would have probably been something sciencey. I was a big time nerd as a kid. Not only did I have an interest in dinosaurs in preschool. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this. Here's a full disclosure. When I was in preschool, my sister was 2 years older than me. So I think it was my 4-year-old year. I went to her first grade class and did a presentation on dinosaurs. As a 4-year-old, my mom has a video of it, but she didn't video of it because she was watching me. So she filmed the floor, and you can hear me talking in the background. So I was head over heels interested in science. For a while, I would catch butterflies and create like a specimen board of local butterflies. I would search out fossils, and I looked for arrowheads and things of that nature. And then as I approached the ripe age of 8, when you know what you want to do as an 8-year-old, I fell head over heels in love with Michael Jordan, and the rest, as they say, is athletic regret.
That's we're in the arts and science group here at 10 Experience.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm gonna go a totally different way. First of all, I loathed school, and so for me, when I was growing up, my mom, and still to this day, well, I guess within the last couple of years, she will watch every football game that comes on. Right? Loves football. And so anything NFL, not really college football so much, but growing up, my parents loved, my dad in particular, loved the Dallas Cowboys. So they ingrained it in my head I was going to grow up and go try to play football. That was it. That was the only dream that was ever talked about. They didn't say anything about school. They were like, no. And my uncles would say it, and people, my close relatives would be like, yeah, he's going to go to the NFL. So talking about building somebody up for something that has a smaller than lottery chance of happening. But that was, when I was a kid, that's what I wanted to do, was play for the Dallas Cowboys. That was the goal. So here we are.
Yeah, me too. Not the Cowboys, but the Bulls, of course. But that was the life after. Just talked about it, his life has points, but that was a different life of mine when I was only pursuing athletic things. And that led me through the college age, and then kind of segued into this, like we discussed the last time. That's a good question. I like that question.
Okay, I'll keep it. I had some other things I wanted to talk about, but we're already past that, so I'm going to keep this question a little more simple. Favorite car? Money, no object. What car would you have?
Oh, man.
I think Taryn bought his yesterday. So
Hey,
I'm kidding. He didn't. No, I'm lying.
Lauren's watching this. She's like, what?
Yeah, you don't know. Man, favorite one ever.
Money's not an issue.
There's so many.
Money's not an object. I mean, you're Elon Musk, to give the example you were talking about with Taryn.
So many.
You're Mr.
Well,
Tesla.
too. Like any of the new Teslas, like I would love to have a Tesla, but it like something like pulls on my heartstrings. Like Dad used to have a Camaro Chevelle, like a '68 Camaro Chevelle, stuff like that. Like those are just, you see them and it's just like you melt. You're like, oh, I love this. So I'd say one of those.
Absolutely. All right, Taryn, you still thinking?
Yeah, this is hard for me. I really enjoy cars, and
Taryn's like a mountain bike.
no, I'm just as attracted to cars. They just are a lot more expensive than mountain bikes. I don't know. I like I'm kind of the Joe Rogan kind of mindset of a lot of those older style Porsches and stuff. I really like those rear engine cars like that. I can only imagine driving one, but I could never say that it would be a Porsche, because I would see something else. That stuff just changes probably by the month and what I see and what I'm tuned into at the time. That's just how I am. But I don't know.
I'm pretty uninteresting in this arena. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk. So if I had to say right now, it would be the new Tesla Roadster, probably, that's releasing next year. If not the Cybertruck, if not the Model S, if not the Model X, if not the Model 3, if not the Model Y. But if you ask the Galen of grade school years, I really liked the Dodge Viper back in the day, the original Dodge Viper,
Yes, sir.
the blue with the white stripes, the SRT10.
Sure. It's in like
Do you remember the
car race
show named Viper? Do you remember they had a TV show based after the car?
Yes,
I forgot all about that.
I didn't know that.
but I don't know. That's just off of the belt shot. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could be convinced into like an old Bronco or an old Blazer too.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like right now, I'm picturing you in this flannel, hair down, in an El Camino. It'll be the best thing ever. It'll be the best thing ever. I
With
love
my mustache.
Yes. I mean, it'll make my life. I would wreck my car looking at that. So, yeah, I'm with you guys. It's hard to pinpoint because you could. For me, I like newer cars, and I don't care to say it. Like there's a Bentley in town, a convertible Bentley that's absolutely beautiful. I mean, I love newer cars, and if money were no object, I think one of those would be like a Bentley or even a like a Ferrari or Lamborghini. If we're talking about no money, like money doesn't matter. But I come back to Jay's answer when I think about what really drives me or what makes me nostalgic about a car would be an older car. I like the old Lincolns, the 60-something model Lincoln. I love the suicide doors, the white wall tires. I love that. Like old Cadillacs you see in the gangster movies. I love those.
Training Day Monte Carlo that Denzel had. You remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I think Zach's back here. Somebody's back here. So
Yeah, that's Zach.
It's police.
I'm on red alert.
yeah, it's our turn now. You see me get handcuffed and walked out. Well, that's all I got, Gus. Figured that'd be a simpler one to end it on for my line of questions.
Yeah, I'm
You have any rapid fires? You good?
Well, I had the donut and
Go get in this.
Zach, come walk in. This could be a preview of a future podcast.
Oh, God.
y'all ready to get hammered?
Hammer. Yeah, Zach's hammered.
Hello.
Introduce yourself, Zach.
My name is Zach. I am a physical therapist. I own Absolute Treatment and a CrossFit coach here at 10 Experience.
He's also a brandly new minted father. He has quads that are only known east and west of the Mississippi.
That's right.
And has hands of magic. So that's not enough as a teaser to draw him into a podcast or maybe even a live Zoom call where he discusses the benefit of mobility while we're all doing this, which is sitting. I don't know if I'm tempting you enough, but I'll set the hook a little deeper.
Okay, reel me in there. I'm in now.
I liked his introduction versus your introduction. I loved it.
I don't know. I like the quad thing a lot.
He's
I like the quad thing.
I'm happy to brag on people who I believe in.
I like how Zach looks incredibly small. We all are closer to the camera, but Zach's not incredibly small, I promise.
I don't know. The only thing, my upper body is pretty small. It's about as skinny as this hammer.
Cheers to that.
Hey, in fact, he used that hammer to put me back together again, like Humpty Dumpty.
I did.
So he's the reason I'm able to do half the stuff I'm able to do now.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, I'm
Well,
going to go hammer away.
Zach.
Anybody?
All right, guys, and with that, we'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. I think we're about, an hour 15, something along those lines. So some more deep dives into what's going on between our ears, if much anyway. So hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 2. We aim to get right back on track with episode number 3 next week. So if you're seeing this one, then tune back in with us. And again, hit us with the name options that you might like to see flash across the screen, and then any questions that you'd like to see us fill or answer. But I'll leave it up to you guys. Anything else you want to mention before we sign off?
Not just send it to our Facebook, Instagram, whatever, any of the accounts that we have, and we'll answer your questions like we did this week in there. Yeah, or even on the YouTube video down at the bottom.
G?
I don't have anything. That's it.
it's funny you say flash across the screen. I had an idea for a name. We don't have to add this to the podcast at all, but lightning in a bottle. You know, I don't mean to mimic what Grant and them did at Storm in a Teacup, but I thought lightning in a bottle or some play of that would be interesting. We'll catch flashes of things that are interesting in the bottle, like a firefly or a lightning bug. The difference between the right word and the wrong word is like the difference between lightning and a lightning bug.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm good with that. I like that.
That's neat.
Wasn't there a cartoon or a story or something about catching lightning in a bottle? What was that?
I think it's just for me, it's a figure of speech, but I don't know if it is like tied to a mythology of some kind.
I think there was a cartoon or something when I was growing up that they were trying to do that. One of those life lesson cartoons.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
All right, well, there's one idea. We could cast a vote on that one, or if you guys again have yours, let us know. But with that being said, I guess we will sign off. So on behalf of Justin here in Bristol, and Galen and Steve in Morristown, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Cheers, I guess.
See you guys. I'm sitting here with Ravishing Galen Godby. We're at the Honda Center.
I want Taryn to talk and me to talk, and I want you to tell if like one of us sounds louder.
Hey, my name's Taryn. I'm way cooler than this goon.
Hey, my name's Justin. Muscle.
See, now you messed it up because the lens towards the edge makes me look bigger.
Oh,
And then
he's
you get
200 pounds. Now he's 150. It looked like a mini Rogan coming out. Felt good. I don't mean mini in size. I mean mini in age.
You're way taller.
In age. A mini in age. Guy's like 52.
You're dead to me.